this text that Sanjay Kabe shared with us is actually taken from a book that was authored by General Hanot Singh, Lieutenant General Hanot Singh ji, who is a very senior and very aged devotee of Swamiji, who was in a very high position in the army. And so he had authored this book. Okay. And in this book, at one point, in the process of explaining Bhava, he explains to us that Bhava in Sanskrit actually means attitude. And then he lists out 5 different types of attitudes that devotees develop towards their Ishtadaiva. The form of God, the form in which they worship God. Okay. So these are the different attitudes that the general had listed. And then Tom was asked to take this book, the book published by General Hanot. Swamiji told him to include the contents of that book into the books that he has written. Okay. So Tapashakti is the first book that Tom has brought out. So whatever General Hanot Singh has written, those sections are adopted into the Tapashakti also. So that is how this came into Tapashakti. Okay. So let me spend a few more moments on this. So what the general is telling us is that, now before that, let me put a word of introduction here. See, devotion is basically love, right? So it is love towards God. So it is a devotee's love towards God. That is what we say is devotion, right? That is expressed in different ways. And in history, we have also seen that different devotees have different attitudes towards their Ishtadaiva. Okay? So these are the examples that the general has taken. The first one he says is Sant Bhava. That is the attitude that saints have towards God. They know He is the Parabrahma, He is the Almighty, He is everything. They totally surrender to Him. Okay, so that kind of thing, more of a scientific approach towards God. So a scientific attitude towards God, right? Then we have what is called Dasya Bhava. Dasya means literally a slave or a servant. So this is the attitude that Hanuman had towards Lord Rama. So Hanuman is, he has exemplified that attitude. He is the best among the devotees who have developed the Dasya Bhava towards God. Right? So he considers himself a servant of Lord Rama, a slave of Lord Rama. And that is what his attitude been right through his life and even now. Okay. Then we have what is called Sakhya Bhava. Sakhya is what? Friend. Sakha antivala adu. So that was developed by Arjuna and Uddhava. So Arjuna used to consider Lord Krishna as his friend, brother-in-law, that's all, right? He knew Krishna was God, but the way they used to treat each other, right, is like they are friends. The way they talk to each other and all that. It was not the relationship like between Hanuman and Ram, right? Arjuna was not like Hanuman. He was not a servant of Lord Krishna. He was more a friend, a brother-in-law kind of a thing. But he was a devotee and Lord Krishna was God. Uddhava was a devotee and Lord Krishna was God. And I think Uddhava was a nephew of Lord Krishna. I'm not very sure. But they had an attitude of a friend towards another. That's all. Each other, okay? Then we have what is called Vatsalya Bhava. Vatsalya is what? It is also love, but the kind of love that the parents have towards their children. So that has been exemplified by Kausalya, the mother of Lord Sri Rama, and also Yashoda, the mother of Lord Sri Krishna. Right? See, Yashoda was also a devotee of Lord Krishna. There are times when Lord Krishna showed to his mother that he was not an ordinary child, that he was God incarnate. Okay? But yet, the mother treated the child as her own child. He did not treat him as God. Okay? No, there was extreme love. But the love was that of a mother towards the child. Not like that between Hanuman and Ram. Okay? Then there is another bhava, which is the Madhura Bhava. The general calls this the Madhura Bhava. So this was exemplified by Radha towards Krishna or Meera towards Krishna. Okay, so that is because like the love between the lover and the beloved. Okay, so like this, there are different attitudes. They are all love ultimately, but they are different forms of love, different attitudes of love. Okay, so this is what General Hanoth had explained in his book. He has taken these examples and then he explained that Bhava in Sanskrit means attitude, and these are the different attitudes of devotion. Okay. Now, the question that our brother devotee Sanjay is asking us is the trance experience that we see at the ashrams. Several people experience trance, and we see them dancing or moving around in a very peculiar way. Some of them are sitting silently, okay? Some of them are climbing trees. So, all these things we see in the ashram when the bhajan is going on mainly. Even at other times we see, but when the bhajan is going on, it is very intense. And a lot of people get it. At a single time, you may find 20 of them in trance. Okay. Now, the correct name or the correct term for that experience in our ancient language is Bhava Samadhi. Okay, so that is the term that is used for trance. Actually, the literal meaning of trance, I mean, as it is used in the Bible, I think, I'm not sure, but in that culture, okay, is slightly different. It's not the same as Bhava Samadhi. But because of the want of a better word, we keep using the term trance generally to refer to Bhava Samadhi. Okay. So now Sanjay is asking us the Bhava Samadhi that we see, or the Bhava that we see at the ashrams on different devotees, does it fall into these five categories? Or is it more than that, where the astral body of the god or the goddess or the yogi, the saint, okay, that comes down into the physical body, manifests in the physical body of the devotee? Okay, so then the final part of the question is what is the relationship between a devotee's devotional attitude and the bhava he or she gets? That is his final question. Okay. The rest of it, what I talked until now, is just the background to this question. Okay. Now let me clarify first that this question has not been directly answered by Swamiji. Okay. So when Sanjay brother asked me this question, then I had to look back and refer to the different experiences, my observations, my knowledge, and then I have derived the answer. Okay, so the answer that I'm giving you is my answer. Okay, so we can discuss this, we can change the answer. Please feel free to talk about it, to discuss this. You don't have to accept it as it is, right? I am telling you what I think it is. Okay, from the knowledge and from the training that I got from Swamiji. So let us take an example, right? In Bhava Samadhi, we use the word Bhava and the Samadhi, right? So Sanjay is asking us the use of Bhava in this term Bhava Samadhi, is it the same that the general explained in his book or Tom explained in his book, which is attitude? Yes, the answer is correct. Here also Bhava means attitude. The literal meaning of the Sanskrit word Bhava is attitude. There is no difference in that. So there also it is used as attitude. Here also it is being used. In Bhav Samadhi also it is used as attitude only. Okay. But Sanjay's question is the attitude that we see or the bhava that we see in the devotee, manifest in the devotee, is it related to the five attitudes that the general has listed out? So to answer that question or to derive the answer to that question, let us take the example of a devotee who is well known to all of us in Bangalore and other places also, Mr. Kannan, right? He is an aged devotee, probably 65, 70 years of age. And I am taking his example because very often we see him in trance. He comes to the ashram. He used to come to the ashram every Sunday during the normal times. Now we don't go to the ashram because the ashram is closed because of the restrictions of COVID. So he's not coming there. We are not going there. But earlier he used to be there every Sunday, and he used to attend all the programs. He used to go along with us to Adivarapeta, wherever we went and did functions. He used to accompany us. Okay, so a lot of people know him. That's why I'm taking his examples. So sometimes we see Kannan in the Bhava Samadhi of Lord Hanuman. Okay, so he is eating fruit, he is eating a banana just like a monkey does. He carries the whole bunch of banana on his shoulder, either as a bunch of bananas like Hanuman would do it, or even acting as though that is the gada, the mace that Hanuman carries, okay? The weapon. So that's what I'm talking about. So he goes around the hall while the bhajan is going on, carrying the huge bunch of bananas as though it is a mace. Sometimes, he's trying to tear his chest open and show the Lord Sri Rama inside to us, like Hanuman did. Okay? And then sometimes he just sits very quietly doing dhyan, like Lord Hanuman did. There are other times when he's dancing around, singing along with us, as though he's singing along with us, playing the talam like Hanuman did. Okay? So he shows all these attitudes of Hanuman. Then we also see him in the Bhav Samadhi of Devi, Kalika Devi, Parvati Devi. Actually, there is another form of Devi that is worshipped that's called Pratyangira Devi, which is a very ferocious form of Devi. Okay, we see him in that form also in the ashram. Where he puts his fingers in his mouth and then he spreads it wide and he puts his tongue out with eyes staring at us. He shows that ferocious form also. Okay. Now my question is this: if I accept Sanjay's answer, saying that yes, the Bhava Samadhi is the same as the attitudes that General Hanut has listed out, but Devi is not a devotee, right? I mean, those were the attitudes of devotees towards their Ishtadaiva. Whether it is Hanuman or Arjun or Yashoda or Mirabai, they were devotees and it was their attitude towards their Ishtadaiva, their God. But here we are looking at Devi, Parvati Devi, Kalika Devi, and she is not a devotee. Not in the form that she appears on Kannan. I mean, I'm just taking Kannan as an example. You must have seen several devotees in the trance of Devi. But the point I'm trying to make here is Devi is not a devotee. We have seen people in the Bhav Samadhi of Lord Rama as if they are holding a bow and an arrow. Okay? Lord Rama is not a devotee. Well, he is a devotee of Lord Shiva. He was. But as he is being depicted in trance, in Bhav Samadhi, in the ashram, it's not the form of a devotee. Okay? Then if it is not the attitude of the devotee towards God, towards his Ishtadaiva, then what does the term Bhava in Bhava Samadhi mean? Why is it being used? In what sense is it being used there? That is basically the question of Sanjay. Okay, so even when Kannan is in the Bhava Samadhi of Lord Hanuman, he is not showing only Dasya Bhava. Okay, there are times when Kannan is showing the Veer Bhava of Lord Hanuman. Okay, or even there is another Bhava, Shaurya is what we call it, right? The ferocious form of Lord Hanuman. Even that is depicted sometimes. He's running around in the hall, okay, as though he's ready for war. So that attitude also we see. So my question is, I am seeing the Dasya Bhava of Hanuman in Kannan, as well as I am also seeing the Shaurya Bhava, the Veera Bhava of Hanuman in Kannan. So Kannan cannot be having both these bhavas, right? And Kannan, when he is experiencing the Bhava Samadhi of Devi, then what is it? Okay. So from these examples and from these observations, I am trying to say that yes, Bhava in Bhava Samadhi is attitude. That is correct. But it is not the attitude of the devotee. It is the attitude of the God or the goddess that we see manifested in the devotee's physical body. Okay, so this is my answer. So now let me repeat what I said just now. So I am saying that the bhava in bhava samadhi, which is attitude, but it is not the attitude of the devotee who is experiencing the bhava samadhi. It is the attitude of the god or the goddess who has manifested in the physical body of the devotee. So that is why we see Hanuman there in his physical body, in Kannan's physical body, but expressing all the attitudes of Hanuman. And then when he experiences the Bhava Samadhi of Devi, Kalika Devi, or Parvati Devi, or Pratyangira Devi, we see those attitudes in Kannan. Okay? Then we see other devotees who get the Bhava Samadhi of Narasimha Swami. And then they start roaring like a lion. Okay? They become very ferocious. They start roaring like a lion in a very loud voice. That is the attitude of Narasimha Swami. Okay, so it is the attitude of the God who has manifested on the body of the devotee. Now let us see what is happening to the devotee actually, not what we are seeing. Like for example, I am seeing that Kannan is on the screen. Kannan is now distributing some prasadam. Okay, he is eating the prasadam and then he is distributing it probably to others. But I am not talking about that. What I am asking you is, what is happening to Kannan? What is his experience at this moment? Okay, that is the question. So we talk to devotees. I mean, all of you also can talk. We talk to such devotees who experienced such Bhava Samadhi after they come out of it, after they become normal, after they return to normal consciousness. Again, we went and talked to them. We asked them, what happened to you? You can also go and ask them. The answers are very simple and few. Okay, either they will say, I don't know what happened. They are not aware of what all they did. They are not aware of what all they showed, the actions that they did. They're not aware of any of that. They don't remember any of that. Okay, or they may have a very vague idea of what happened, but they can't be sure. But one thing is common, Bob. I mean, we found one aspect common amongst all devotees who experience trance, who experience Bhava Samadhi. That is the bliss. Okay? The happiness. I mean, it's not really happiness, but I have to use the term bliss. It's much beyond happiness. They enjoyed so much. They want it again and again, as much as possible, as many times as possible. Every day, whole of the day, 24 hours a day, if they get it, they'll be happy. They desire that, okay? They crave for that. Actually, some of the devotees who experience Bhava Samadhi, they come to the ashram because they want Bhava Samadhi. They want bhajans to be played so that they will experience Bhava Samadhi and they'll enjoy the Bhava Samadhi. Okay? They come there for that. But at the same time, they don't remember anything. And yet they want it, they desire it. Okay? So from this observation, what I feel is the devotee is in samadhi. Okay, the state of samadhi, which is very difficult to attain. Only yogis, I don't want to say yogis, that may be technically wrong, but people who have done a lot of sadhana, a lot of spiritual practice, only they attain the state of samadhi. Okay, which is a state where you are unconscious of your body, your surroundings, your mind doesn't exist. You don't feel anything, you don't remember anything, right? Except pure bliss. That is the state of samadhi. That can be attained through dhyan, through meditation. Hours and hours of dhyan, hours and hours of practice on a daily basis. What Swamiji told us is you will have to do 3 to 4 hours of meditation every day on a daily basis to begin to experience samadhi. Okay? Now, such a thing which can be obtained by the grace of the Guru, the grace of the Lord, can be given instantly to a devotee by the gods or goddesses through the phenomenon of Bhava Samadhi. Okay? This is my answer, right? The Bhava Samadhi means the devotee is put in Samadhi, so the devotee's mind doesn't exist, but the devotee's body is alive, okay? And the god or the goddess has taken over that physical body, okay? And we see the god or the goddess or the yogi expressing his or her attitude in the physical body of this devotee. Is that clear now? What is Bhava Samadhi? So that Bhava refers to the attitude of the god or the goddess who has manifested in the physical body. Samadhi refers to the devotee who is in the state of Samadhi. So in contrast to Dhyana Samadhi, that is the state of Samadhi attained through the practice of Dhyana, this is Bhava Samadhi, where the devotee is not attaining the state by himself or herself, but a god or goddess is helping him or her attain that state instantly, okay, through the process of Bhava Samadhi. Okay, so that means an astral body of the god or the goddess or the yogi takes over the physical body of the devotee by putting the astral body of the devotee in a state of samadhi. Okay, so the devotee remains in samadhi and the god has taken over, and we see the bhava of the god in the devotee expressed in the devotee's body. Okay, so I hope that explanation will convince Sanjay, but I would like to hear what he has to say, what the others have to say. People who have experienced Bhava Samadhi are here in the meeting, so if they want to add something, I'll be very happy.
Yes, Jagdishana, thank you very much for the very nice explanation. Thank you.
Okay, Sanjay.